Watching on our streaming platform. We'll see you at 6.
Sean Osley and Leslie Lowe with content connecting our community. You're watching NonStop Local KHQ at 6.
Continuing coverage for you tonight on the Stevens County shooting that left a deputy hospitalized requiring surgery and another person, the suspect, dead. In a Facebook post, the Stevens County Sheriff's Office sharing that the deputy made it through surgery and on their way home. Thanking everyone deeply for your support. Good evening. Good to be with you this Friday evening. I'm Sean Alsey. The investigation into the shooting is open and ongoing, with new questions raised specifically about the suspect, Jim Jordan's criminal history. Let's bring in NonStop Local KHQ's Belle Lewis live in studio tonight. Good evening, Belle. The biggest question we've been asked here in the newsroom is how was he out in the streets in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, Sean. On March 25th, Jim Jordan was arrested in Stevens County and charged with 5 crimes, all related to domestic violence and all Class C felonies. Eventually, Jordan appearing before a judge and granted bail to the tune of $50,000 and then released with protective orders in place. Still a month later, Jordan accused of violating that order and attempting to enter a residence on Suncrest Drive. Court documents detail a harrowing scene between Jim Jordan and his wife on March 24th. According to court documents, Jordan tying his wife with zip ties and later telling police she was, quote, bugging him. After allegedly making several threats, his wife kicking him and escaping in her vehicle. Later that day, court documents say Jordan called his daughter and when she wouldn't reveal her mother's location, threatened her as well, saying he would, quote, show her what unsafe is. Law enforcement was contacted, but both wife and daughter expressing concerns, saying that Jordan had stated before that should law enforcement intervene, he would, quote, go out in a blaze of glory and engage in an officer-involved shooting. Jordan eventually charged with 5 crimes, all Class C felonies, and all carrying a sentence of maximum 5 years. And Jordan eventually appeared before a judge and received a bail of $50,000. Following the shooting, some questioning if such a low bond was even allowed. According to the Stevens County prosecuting attorney, that number higher than many others doled out for Class C felonies. She also explained that it is a legal requirement to have a bond discussion. NonStop Local also reached out to the Washington Commission for Judicial Conduct, who investigate judges for ethical violations. Executive Director Ryko Kalner says that many times judicial decisions need to be revised through the appeals process, not through an ethics violation investigation. And that judicial discretion to make decisions like bond based on legal precedents is important.
Judges have the independence to make a decision based on the merits, based on the law, and not based on public or political pressure.
So, Sean, I want to be clear here. In the case of this bond decision, yes, it is a conversation, but judges are relying on precedent based on the class of felony and other charges to institute protections. It's a standard procedure that applies to everyone. Back to you, Sean.
Belle Lewis, live in studio. Belle, thank you. We're continuing to track gas prices for you, and in the last 24 hours, they've gone up another 9 cents. That's directly from AAA. Here are the numbers tonight. It brings the national average to $4.39. In Idaho, the average for a gallon, $4.43. In Washington, $5.61. Drivers in Spokane are paying less than that at an average of about $5.27 here. On average, we're paying about $1.39 more than we did at this same time 1 year ago. And that is making a lot of people angry, and some are challenging us here at NonStop Local KHQ to be completely transparent of why gas in Washington is so much more expensive than in other states. Rebecca in Spokane sent us this message following our report Thursday on gas prices setting a record in Washington state. She says gas is more expensive in Washington state because of the gas tax. Let's bring in NonStop Local KHQ's Heidi Miley live in Spokane tonight. Good evening, Heidi. It was Rebecca who reached out to us, but many others feel the same way. And you took a closer look at this. What did you find?
Yeah, I can see why they're writing us, Sean. Right now, I'm across from the Minghua Chinese, the grocery outlet. There are about 4 gas stations right around this corner, all at $5.19. I swear the one across the street was $4.99 just a couple of days ago. But Rebecca is spot on. Gas is more expensive in Washington than in other states. That's because we have one of the highest gas taxes in the nation. But the truth is, that's not why you're paying more at the pump right now.
Here's the breakdown. Every gallon of fuel sold in our nation includes a federal gas tax that's just over 18 cents a gallon. The various taxes in Washington state add an additional 55 cents a gallon. So together, that's about 74 cents in taxes for every gallon you pump in Washington state. That number won't change until July 1st, which is when the annual 2% increase takes effect. Now, only 2 states have higher gas tax, California and Illinois. And this is also the reason why you will never see Washington gas prices at or below the national average. But for the most part, those taxes are flat. They are not the reason why you're seeing price jumps from one day to the next. Those jumps are tied to three other factors: global incidents like Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz, OPEC activity, which controls 40% of the crude oil market and which is throttling production right now, and market speculation on how these factors will impact supply. For perspective, crude oil was selling for about $102 a barrel Friday afternoon. Its highest since the Iran war started was at $126 a barrel. But on January 2nd, crude was selling for as low as $57 a barrel.
Yeah, and Sean, as everybody knows, gas prices go up every summer. So coming up tonight on Pulse Prime, I'll be talking about what will happen with our gas prices right around Memorial Day with all of these factors at play.
All right, Heidi Miley breaking things down for us in Spokane tonight. Heidi, thank you. Appreciate it. We welcome questions and feedback and putting us to the test as well. It's important and we are transparent. If you'd like to reach out, you can do that through our News Tips page by scanning the QR code on the screen or send us an email, newstips@nonstoplocal.com. All right, let's get to that ever-important Bloomsday weekend forecast. And Leslie, good to see you back here in studio after a couple days at home. Good to have you on a Friday. It's Payday Friday, by the way.
Payday Friday and headed into a fun weekend.
Yeah.
So there we go. Thanks, my friend. And yeah, conditions could not be better as we head into Bloomsday weekend. We were 12 degrees above our average for this time of the year. 74 degrees, that was our high for today. Our overnight lows also above our averages at 44 degrees. Sunset tonight after 8 o'clock. It is going to be so nice outside. So take a minute, get out there, enjoy the patio, get a walk around the neighborhood. We've got a few clouds in the forecast, that courtesy of this cold front that is pushing to the south and to the east of us. It's driving in a little bit of a light northeasterly wind. Otherwise, again, we're quiet with overnight lows tonight that will dip down into the mid to upper 40s and 50s. You can see Colville tonight at 45 degrees, upper 40s around Spokane, Coeur d'Alene into the Palouse, mid to upper 40s between Grangeville and Orofino, and then we've got 50s from Lewiston back into the Tri-Cities up towards Wenatchee. Here's a first look at that Bloomsday forecast, and it is going to be a warm one. A full look at that 7-day when I see you back here in just a few minutes. Sean?
All right, Leslie. Well, it is the countdown to Bloomsday here in Spokane, and not many days or even hours left to count. One day, 14 hours, 18 minutes until the race kicks off. But before the race, there's the Bloomsday Trade Show, as you well know, by tradition, and it brings people from all over to the downtown area. NonStop Local KHQ's Tori Smith joining us tonight from the Convention Center. Been there for the last couple hours. Hi, Tori. Good to see you again. What are you seeing down there right now?
Good to see you guys again, too. Yes, we're at the trade show, and this is until 7 p.m. for this evening. They're expecting roughly 50,000 people to come show out for this event all the way through tomorrow. So we'll have those dates for you shortly. But in the meantime, I'm joined with Kelly with the ICCU. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so we have something going on behind us, but tell me a little bit about what ICCU is.
Yeah, ICCU is a full-service financial institution. We're passionate about helping our members achieve financial success. You may have seen us out and about in the community. We're excited to be here at the Bloomsday Trade Show today.
Thank you, Kelly. And they have a little event going on, but you're going to have to find out from them when you come out and visit what those promotions are. So should we try it out?
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So you keep your shoes on. I'm a little nervous. I don't think I've ever done one of these. We go in. Okay, and the goal is to try to catch some money here. And again, they have those promotions going on. So, oh my goodness. Okay, so you're trying to grab money. Okay, I think I got one. Okay, I think there should be like a trick to this. I mean, I feel like if you were to try to use your shirt, it would work, but I'm not going to try that here on live TV. But I did get one. I got a $1 bill. So we'll keep you posted on the latest of the Bloomsday coverage. For now, we are live in Spokane. Tori Smith, NonStop Local.
Yeah, maybe the hurricane force winds in there. All right. And she doesn't keep the money, by the way. I'm just letting you know. All right. Still to come tonight at 6, getting some perspective from a verifiable Bloomsday legend, Anne Audain, the New Zealand Queen of Bloomsday. That's ahead in sports.
And we've got a full look at that Bloomsday forecast. I think you're going to like it. Stick around. We'll see you back here right after the break.
But I wanted to point out that this is our third lowest snowpack as of April 1st, going back to 1985. So you can see the two worst years were 2005 and 2015. Those were statewide drought declarations as well.
You just heard directly from Deputy State Climatologist Karen Bumbacco, her office predicting a historic set of drought conditions for the state. That's harkening back to some of the worst wildfires in Pacific Northwest history. For those who don't remember, 2005 school fire caused severe damage to the Umatilla National Forest in southeastern Washington. It was the largest wildfire of the year in the U.S. 2015, of course, hosted the Okanagan-Carlton Complex fire, which became the largest fire in state history. For a better look at where things stand right now, let's bring in Leslie Lowe now with the key factors that people are looking at to determine this drought. It's something you keep a very close eye on.
Yeah,
Leslie.
we're always concerned when we know that we've not seen the snowpack that we would normally see. So the name of the game is snowpack and water supply levels. The Washington Department of Ecology says projected water supplies will likely fall short of summer demand. This marks the fourth straight year of drought for part or all of the state. The low snowpack could impact farmers, fish, and increase wildfire risk. As NonStop Local's Kevin Teeter reports, ranchers across the state are concerned.
Washington state officials say we are in the midst of a major drought this year. The lack of snowpack in the mountains is leaving streams empty and forests dry, compounding on another threat: wildfires. Rod Haberly is a rancher outside Conconelli in Okanogan County. In 2015, he was caught up in one of the largest wildfires in state history. Haberly recalls trying to scramble his cattle away after the flames on this hilltop suddenly began to race down the hillside as the wind picked up.
We had to go gather those cattle up in the middle of the night and bring them home. Smoke was so thick you could not see 10 feet. But we made it out of it, made it home.
Today, Rod fears the severe drought this year could create a similar situation. In April, the Department of Ecology announced the 4th consecutive year of drought conditions in Washington. This time, every watershed in the state has passed the drought threshold, as snowpack was roughly half its typical level. Communities like Okanogan County are prepping for water supply issues that are likely to impact agriculture. Scott Verazka raises cattle and grows alfalfa and corn silage in Okanogan County. He says he worries both his crops and livestock could be affected.
We're really worried about our watering source for these animals.
These challenges add on to the weight already pressing down on Washington farmers, which ranked last in the nation in farm profits in 2024. But for now, they just have to take it one season at a time.
We all kind of get together every year and game plan for the upcoming season, and we had NOAA here giving us the outlook, and the outlook don't look good. It's kind of bleak for the summer, a hot, dry summer.
In Okanogan County, I'm Kevin Teeter.
And you can bet we will be watching that very closely. All right, let's get a look at that weather forecast, because as we head into the weekend, we are expecting above average temperatures today. 73 right now in Spokane, 71 in Coeur d'Alene. We've got upper 60s currently for the Palouse, and 75 degrees is our current temperature in Chewelah. As far as wind speeds go, not too bad. They're coming in from the northeast, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. You can see that little front, the tail end of it. That's what we're catching there. That is bringing in the cloud coverage, and again, the tail end of those winds. Otherwise, it continues to push off to the south into the east as we head overnight tonight. 49 degrees, that's what we're expecting for a low in Spokane. Coeur d'Alene down towards the Palouse, 51 tonight. In Lewiston, my friends in Grangeville, you'll see those overnight lows tonight at 46 degrees. Low to mid 50s through central Washington, with overnight lows tonight back into the Tri-Cities at 55 and 52 over into Moses Lake. So quiet tonight. Tomorrow, we've got a few clouds in the forecast, even some mountain showers that we'll go through when we take a look at our futurecast. Otherwise, Bloomsday Sunday is picture perfect. We are expecting sunny, warm conditions as temperatures continue to climb. That stretch of beautiful weather, it actually extends through the 7-day forecast. So this is a look at our futurecast for tomorrow. There's that cold front again, sweeping to the south and to the east of us. You can see the pops of green. That is all courtesy of an area of low pressure to the south of us. So as that swings northward, we're catching some of the backlash from that. So you can see it spins up some shower activity for the northern Cascades up across the northern mountains. We'll watch that very closely, and then finally over towards parts of North Idaho and into western Montana. I don't think we'll see anything here in Spokane, but of course we always do need to keep an eye on that. It looks like the mountains are going to be the focus. Otherwise, we've got this front pushing across the Great Lakes, and that's where we'll look for some more active weather and temperatures well below our averages from the northeast corner back into the Great Lakes. You can see Green Bay at 55 degrees for a high, Chicago just at 48, 70s though south into Dodge City, Denver, and then back into California. We'll see those daytime highs in the mid 70s for both Reno and LA. We're warmer than LA tomorrow, 77 degrees from Spokane over towards Coeur d'Alene. We've got 80s on the map for Omak, mid 70s over towards the Panhandle, 80-degree temperatures for the Cascade Valleys, and mid 80s expected for Moses Lake down through Othello. Over towards Montana on the cooler side in Kalispell at 71, 78 though in Troy and Libby. We do hit the 80s tomorrow in the LC Valley, and then comfortably in the mid 70s for the Palouse. There's a look at that 7-day forecast, and it is a nice one. Sunshine in 70s for the next 7 days. We'll take a break. See you back after this.
live from the Northern Quest Sports Studio. This is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
Well, Sunday morning, tens of thousands of runners and walkers will take the course for the 50th running of Bloomsday. It'll be a race, but also a celebration of what this event really means. And it wouldn't be a celebration without the Queen of Bloomsday. Ann Audain, a 7-time champion, will be back as the official race starter. Her 7 titles came in the decade of the 1980s, her last one in 1990. She helped put Bloomsday on the map in those early years, but Bloomsday helped her too by saving Audain's career.
So I took a chance on coming here and found my niche. But I'd gone to the Olympic Games in the 800 and 1500 meters, and I suddenly found that this is what I was good at. So it was races like Bloomsday that was started in the 70s that truly gave so many of us a platform to have longer careers.
So she'll be there on Sunday morning. Of course, we'll bring you comprehensive Bloomsday coverage starting at 7 a.m. on Sunday on SWX. Over in Seattle, the Mariners return home from a 5-1 road trip, but tonight much bigger than just kicking off their homestand as they are retiring the second number 51 in Mariners history. The first, Ichiro Suzuki. Tonight, the honor of Randy Johnson. The big unit he played before Ichiro was donning number 51. He's been in the Mariners Hall of Fame since 2012. He pitched for 10 years in Seattle, winning 130 games, a 5-time All-Star, won the first of 5 career Cy Young Awards with Seattle. He also had the first ever no-hitter in Mariners history and will be honored tonight. And really coming up in about 15 minutes, the Mariner, they will retire his jersey before the game kicks off, but they're also looking to get back above 500 for the first time since they were 3-2 to start the year. Brian Wu on the mound for Seattle. In the college basketball season, it ended in April. NBA draft isn't until June, but in May, we're still getting news on some local players as the list for the NBA Draft Combine and the G League Elite Camp were released today. Gonzaga star Graham Ike, he received an invite to the G League Elite Camp. 44 players who were not selected to the NBA Draft Combine will compete to stand out enough to earn an invite to the Draft Combine. That's what Ryan Nemhard did last season. Houston transfer Isaiah Harwell, who's supposed to play at Gonzaga next year, also receiving an invite to that, while Gonzaga commit Jack Kyle, he received an invitation to the NBA Draft Combine. It's unclear whether Harwell or Kyle plan on playing college or professional next season. They still have until May 27th to make that decision in order to play for the Zags next season. That does it for us here at 6.
Sean Osley with in-depth 360 coverage of content connecting our community. This is NonStop Local KHQ at 6:30.
Construction crews for the first time allowed to break ground on a major project that could have a huge impact on Spokane Valley for generations to come. Good Friday evening. You made it to the end of the work week. Good to have you tonight at 6:30. I'm Sean Osley. That project, the brand new dual sheet ice rink near Sullivan, exit off I-90, designed to bring tourism money to Spokane Valley and a big boost to the regional economy. On Tuesday night, Spokane Valley City Council, as we reported, voting to approve the land lease agreement with the Inovia Foundation and move forward with the project. Construction crews, in anticipation of an affirmative vote, preparing the first permit in advance so they could start quickly if it was approved, which it was. Now that permit is approved. Construction crews have the green light. NonStop Local KHQ's Noah Bolter spent the day talking with Inovia Foundation CEO Shelley O'Quinn to answer questions that you're asking about the ice rink. It's our 360 at 6:30.
We're excited that a project that we've been working on for a year and has gone through many phases and iterations is now taking the next step.
A step towards more clarity.
The next phase is we're going to be moving into a pre-construction meeting next week with the city, which at that point we'll be building out the timeline and the calendar for a very aggressive build out with the goal of being completed with the facility next summer.
Some say the Inovia Foundation has an ambitious timeline for this project to have it fully complete by June 2027. Their response, if anyone can, they have the company to do so.
It does feel aggressive, except if you think about it, we've been working closely with Garco for the last year and have been working on the design details. We went to bid earlier this spring, knowing that we were wanting to have everything in place so that the moment that we were able to move forward that we could.
Some in the community say Inovia should have to pay more than $1 per year as a part of their lease.
I actually would push back on that, and I would say I consider this, if you look at, let's say the value of the land is $2 million. I think that was the number that was thrown out at the city council meeting on Tuesday night. That, in essence, is the city's contribution to this project, and the donor is providing the rest. So I think it's a really small investment into the overall project, considering the scope, scale, and the long-term economic impact to this community. Those we can all put numbers around. What we can't put numbers around is the impact to the kids, and the impact when you think about the leadership skills they're going to be building, when you think about the social connections they're going to be building, all the things that we read about in the paper about how kids these days can't get off their screens. We're building an opportunity for these kids to get off of the screens right in the city of Spokane Valley and to be engaged in life, to be engaged in leadership, to be engaged in falling down and standing back up.
The city of Spokane Valley has the option to buy back the facility outright for $9.4 million.
Our goal, though, and the goal of the donor, is that we're going to construct a facility and get it operationally sustainable, with the hopes that then the city or another entity will come along and want to take it over.
If you see the name Ignite Youth Ice LLC on the land lease and you're unsure who they are,
we create a special purpose entity to be able to build the ice rink and own and operate it.
In Spokane Valley, I'm Noah Bolter, NonStop Local.
And she says the pre-construction meeting on May 5th is when they could learn which parts of the project align with different phases. Big 6 headlines tonight, continuing coverage on Thursday's shooting on the South Hill that left one man dead. The person who was questioned in connection to what is now a homicide investigation, we're learning, has been released. Here's NonStop Local KHQ's Morgan Ashley.
I spoke with Spokane police a short time ago. They reassured us this is not a random act of violence based on the information that they have so far. This shooting turned homicide investigation started on the South Hill of Spokane Thursday morning around 9 a.m. Police say it happened off the 900 block of East 33rd Avenue. And when they got there, they say they immediately tried to save the life of the man who had been shot, but he died. We now know that man was 47-year-old Derek Foreman. The coroner says Foreman died of a gunshot wound to the lower extremity. They have ruled his manner of death as a homicide. Now, officers did detain somebody. He was actually seen nearby. Neighbors said that he was walking away from the scene, but he has been released. SPD tells us that person was likely a witness to what happened, but not a suspect. They also emphasized this was not a random act of violence, but they do need your help here. If you have video footage in the area, please contact Crime Check. The number's 509-456-2233. So far, no arrests have been made. SPD's major crimes unit still investigating what happened. In studio, I'm Morgan Ashley.
A 16-year-old boy, we're learning tonight, has been charged with 4 counts of assault in the first degree. He's accused of stabbing 4 students and a security guard at a high school, Foss High School in Tacoma yesterday. Well, NonStop Local usually does not name minors. We will identify him tonight because he is being charged with these crimes as an adult. According to court documents, Waleed Ahmad Asaki allegedly was spotted by the security guard holding a knife that he was able to wrestle away from him. Court documents say one student has a cut lip and puncture wounds to the chest, another cut so badly they need surgery on their arm, a third stabbed in the back, fourth stabbed in the chest and side, and would now need surgery, including partial removal of his lung. The fight allegedly started over a vape pen that Asaki reportedly stole from another student. Asaki's mother says her son had transferred to Foss to try and get a fresh start after being involved in fights at his previous school. He's scheduled to be in court for an arraignment on Friday. We're learning today that the officers who shot and killed a standoff suspect in Shoshone County Sheriff's Office have been cleared of any wrongdoing. You'll remember 77-year-old John Drake was heavily armed when he entered the sheriff's office in Wallace December 26th. He fired once inside the building before walking outside and shooting multiple rounds in the street, hitting 2 civilians. Drake then barricaded himself inside the office for an hour before walking out holding a pistol. One deputy fired at him, hitting him 3 times total. They followed with less lethal rounds and a canine unit to pull him away from his pistol. He later died from his gunshot wounds. On April 24th, the Shoshone County prosecuting attorney sent a letter to the Coeur d'Alene Police Department and the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office saying that Officer Brian Baker and Deputy John Novak were justified in their actions that day and that they had been cleared of any criminal wrongdoing. It's been 60 days since the first strikes on Iran were fired by the United States and Israel. That means the war powers resolution will soon be in effect. It requires the president to remove U.S. forces from conflict within that time if Congress has not officially authorized the war before the deadline. The president, though, says hostilities have stopped and he doesn't need approval. Here's NBC's Julia Ainsley.
As the war in Iran turns 9 weeks old, both sides still negotiating peace plans. But President Trump says he's not happy with the latest Iranian offer.
They want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.
It comes as Iran gave its latest proposal to Pakistan, who's been working as a mediator. But Trump says talks aren't going anywhere.
They are very disjointed. They're extremely disjointed. They're not able to get along with each other as leaders.
The war is now 60 days old, an important marker. A 1973 law requires the president to end military conflicts unless the commander-in-chief gets congressional approval to continue. The administration says the ongoing ceasefire paused that 60-day clock. Republican leadership agrees. But Democrats and some Republicans say it's time Congress gets involved. One GOP lawmaker says she plans to introduce an authorization for use of military force, AUMF, when the Senate returns.
The president should have come to Congress before engaging in military action at this scale that we're seeing now, and that regrettably did not happen.
Iran essentially shut down the Strait of Hormuz when fighting started. Now, a new memo seen by NBC News shows the administration launching a new effort to get allies to reopen the waterway and get oil tankers moving.
President Trump maintains he does not need congressional approval for the war. In letters to Congress today, the president said the hostilities that began on February 28th were terminated on the day the ceasefire began last month, but he did not address the naval blockade in Iranian ports. Spirit Airlines could shut down as soon as Saturday without a last-minute intervention. That's according to an industry source who spoke directly to NBC News. They say the budget airline is reportedly preparing for liquidation in the wake of surging jet fuel costs, which are making Spirit's recovery from bankruptcy nearly impossible. Spirit recently asked the White House for a taxpayer-funded bailout, with President Trump initially proposing a $500 million package and the government stake in the company. That deal was criticized by Congress, and the president has since expressed doubts that a deal is possible. Spirit Airlines has not notified its 14,000 employees of any changes coming and tells NBC News that the airline is operating as usual. It's the countdown to the Beloved Bloomsday here in Spokane. One day, 13 hours plus. But before the big race, it's the trade show. Bringing in the latest gear, wellness products, and all of you. And that's where we find Tori Smith joining us now with, I would imagine, things are picking up as we head into Friday evening. How's it looking out there, Tori?
Yeah, Sean, things are picking up. However, here in the next 20 minutes is actually going to be the wrap of today. They do have the Bloomsday Trade Show open for tomorrow. That's going to be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you're interested or still haven't grabbed your registration, when you first walk in, you're going to scan a barcode to find your bib number, and that is going to tell you what division you're going to go to, what booth you're going to go to in here, and you'll be able to see it as soon as you walk in. Behind me is this little sign, Run SPO. obviously run Spokane. Love it. Love the colors and everything. And a lot of people have been taking pictures here, so we did want to show you this as kind of the staple. There's also a couple other things happening. We have $2 Bloomsday shuttle passes, and we'll get you more information, of course, here on KHQ and NonStop Local as we learn more about the route, as we learn more about everything for Bloomsday. Especially for me, this is my first time, and I finally found somebody who is running Bloomsday for the first time, and they said they're super excited. She's running it by herself. She had a stroller, so I thought maybe she was in that stroller division, but she said she's running it for herself and by herself. So it's really cool to see that. A lot of the other people I spoke to are veterans of Bloomsday, and they're continuing to run it every single year. So that was really exciting to see as well. Here at the trade show, there's multiple things. We saw grilled cheese sandwiches, which was a staple for the very first Bloomsday. We also saw a money machine if you're joining us about 15 to 30 minutes ago, and there's just a number of vendors here, athletic wear, Lululemon, all sorts of things that they're doing raffles for. So you definitely have to check it out tomorrow. For now, live in Spokane, Tori Smith, NonStop Local.
Great stuff, Tori. Appreciate it. Obviously, it's rolling all day tomorrow. And if you're heading downtown, support the local businesses. It's key for them as well. Grab something to eat or maybe a beer. Much more to come tonight here on NonStop Local at 6:30.
Yeah, that's the only way that we can get up to Doomsday is to keep going. We can't stop, can't take breaks.
Well, a long climb up Doomsday Hill awaits two athletes from two different generations keeping a 40-year tradition alive. That story with our Sam Adams straight ahead.
And a live look over Spokane as we get you into Bloomsday weekend. The temperatures continue to climb. A full look at that weather forecast. Stick around. We'll see you back here right after the break.
Well, the wheels in Bloomsday will keep on turning this weekend big time. Dozens of wheelchair racers from around the world and here at home make the grueling ascent of Doomsday Hill.
Yeah, the racing chairs may have changed through the years, but the will behind the wheels remains the same. Tonight, NonStop Local's anchor Sam Adams introduces you to two of this year's racers who are keeping the race's steel wheels and iron will going strong.
It's a tradition almost as long as Bloomsday itself. These wheels have been spinning since 1982. That's when wheelchair racing was first officially recognized by Bloomsday as its own competitive division. Every year, it brings together generations of racers, some who have been there for decades, others who are just now reaching their peak. Tyler Byers and Isaiah Rigo will both be in this year's field, each bringing a unique perspective into Sunday's race. Isaiah's been racing since 2011, since he was 12 at Bloomsday. Tyler's been racing even longer, just before his 10th birthday, back in 1992. Well, that's if you don't count his first foray, which was more of an adventure than a race.
My first Bloomsday shirt is the red one from 1988. And that wasn't in the wheelchair division. That was in the big pack. That's back when they had packs of 50,000 runners. So I got into that with my parents, who helped me push because I was only 5, 6 years old at the time, and did something like 2 hours. I remember weaving through the crowds and masses of people, and organizers weren't too happy with that. But
Tyler got the racing bug a couple years later when his parents brought him to the starting line of the wheelchair division.
And I got to watch all these guys in these fast 3 wheelchairs, and getting to see them start and go and take off at 15, 18 miles an hour and blow by. I'm like, oh, cool, I want to do that. So,
determined to race, Tyler entered the wheelchair division the very next year.
The wheelchair division coordinator at the time, he was super nervous about me doing it. Because a couple years before it, he had had some teenager apparently go over the edge. I don't know the full story, but I think he was going down one of the hills and he crashed and went over the edge. And so he's super nervous about young guys doing the wheelchair division. And he said, well, Tyler, you're the youngest ever. We'll let you do it, but we're giving you a speed limit. You can't go faster than 20 miles an hour. Okay, Tom.
So, the story goes, Tyler was given a device known as a cat eye to track his speed, to make sure he didn't go over 20. Well, let's just say now, the cat is officially out of the bag.
So we have a cat eye that keeps our speed, and it was going, and it was working, and then somehow down Riverside at 19 miles an hour, it just cut out.
Happy coincidence.
Yeah, happy coincidence. And I guarantee I got up over 20 miles an hour that first time. But he came up after the race, after I finished in 53 minutes, came up, checked for my max speeds. Oh, 19, good job, thanks, Tyler. And I never let him know.
Isaiah's experience was much different and much more by the book.
I was introduced to the wheelchair division from the get-go, so I didn't have to weave through all these people or anything like that.
And Isaiah says a lot has changed since then, as Bloomsday has grown into an international phenomenon for wheelchair racers around the world.
But growing up, racing in high school, and then going to college and doing marathons, racing in Chicago, Boston, and then coming back to Bloomsday and doing the race here again, I see that the elite racers that do Boston and all the other marathons are coming here to Bloomsday to race this course. So over the years, it has grown internationally, I would say.
Their path to Bloomsday may be very different, but there is one common opponent that seems to get them every year.
Doomsday, clearly. Can't stop.
Yeah, don't stop. We tell our younger athletes that are about to do their first Bloomsday, it's whatever you do, you squeeze and go. Yeah, that's the only way that we can get up to Doomsday, is to keep going. We can't stop, we can't take breaks, so just keep going. You'll eventually make it, but you just gotta keep pushing.
And they'll keep pushing on as long as Bloomsday is running, ready for the next generation of racers to continue this tradition, one wheel at a time.
Oh, Sammy, thanks so much for that one. I get goosebumps when I just watch this story. It is my favorite part about the Bloomsday race is watching the wheelchair racers. So it's setting up to be an incredible Bloomsday weekend. 74 degrees, that was our high for today. So 12 degrees above our average. Overnight lows also above our averages with sunset tonight after 8 p.m. We'll see those overnight lows upper 40s, low 50s for most tonight. Partly cloudy skies expected. And then as we get you into the day tomorrow, still some lingering clouds out there and likely some mountain showers. I'll show you that here with a look at our future cast in just a second. Otherwise, Bloomsday Sunday. Again, a stunner. It is going to be a warm one. It is one where you certainly need to hydrate well. Make sure you wear the light, loose clothing. You've got your sunscreen on and you're ready to go. So you want to start hydrating now. Get yourself ahead of the game. And that sunny stretch of weather is set to continue as we head through the remainder of the 7-day forecast. So this is our future cast, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Cold front sweeping to the south of us. We've got an area of low pressure to the south of us as well. And as it spins northward, it kind of takes a band of showers with it up into the Cascades. You can see pushing over towards the northern Cascades, up across the northern mountains, pushing over towards North Idaho and into parts of western Montana. I do think shower activity for tomorrow is going to stay up in the mountain locations, but we've always got to keep an eye on the sky. Again, everything does quiet down as we head into our day on Sunday. The other area of concern is going to be up across the northern plains into the Great Lakes. You can see that front pushing through there, so we'll keep an eye on that, and you should too if you happen to be traveling. You can see the western half of the U.S. seeing nice temperatures. We're below our averages for the eastern half of the U.S. In fact, we're into just the mid-50s for areas around Cincinnati, into the low 60s for the Carolinas. We're in the 70s for Denver, Colorado, mid-70s, so comfortable. In Los Angeles, 76 degrees our high tomorrow. In Reno, Nevada. I'll zoom in because we've got incredible temperatures across the Pacific Northwest with those highs in Portland, Oregon at 78. We're right there as well at 77. Lots of 77s here from Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, up towards Priest River into Deer Park and Rosalia. Northern Mountains tomorrow, we pop into the 80s around to Omak at 82, mid-70s, and beautiful over towards Bonners Ferry and Sandpoint. Again, we are looking for that potential of some pop-up showers, though, for the mountain locations. 83 in Chelan, 82 tomorrow in Ritzville, and our daytime high into Moses Lake, mid-80s. It is a little bit cooler in Kalispell at 71 degrees, and then we hit the upper 70s from Libby pushing into the Silver Valley. Temperatures well above average, but take a look at those water temperatures. They are still cold, so please be extra careful if you're headed towards the water. And again, just some reminders, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate as we look for that heat risk as we head into Bloomsday Sunday. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll see you back here after this.
Finally, in our One Good Thing tonight, 6 EMS students put their training to use in the classroom to save the instructor who was instructing them. Carl Arps was simulating the symptoms of a heart attack for a classroom demonstration when his students noticed something simply wasn't right. Another instructor in the room called for a backboard, started calling 911 as the students took turns doing CPR.
You wonder if they're getting it. I don't have to ask that now.
I can't test them out because I'm too prejudiced, but they definitely, everybody got 100% on CPR.
Wow. According to the American Red Cross, there is a less than 10% chance of surviving a heart attack outside of the hospital. Luckily for him, he had amazing students who put their classroom training into action. That's a wrap on the work week. Enjoy the weather. Looks to be a spectacular weekend. We will see you bright and early on Bloomsday morning. Our coverage starts on KHQ at 7 a.m., 7 to 8 on KHQ, and then streaming on SWX and online until 10. I'm Sean Owsley. Take care, everybody. Be safe.